as per usual, we're getting an absolutely terrible start. Rosberg's already overtaken us. Actually, a pretty good exit. Hamilton to get the best of exits, in fact. And we are gaining on him once again with the slipstream. But in fact, look at that. There's 3 cars. 6 cars going 3 abreast there in 2 different groups. Oh my goodness me. Wow. And Lewis Hamilton straight back past the rail. Obviously, we don't have DRS. We're going to be, you know, a sitting duck here on the back straight. We have absolutely no chance. Both Raikkonen and Sebastian Vettel now are also going to try and pass as well. Both Ferraris have gone through us. And just look at this. Just look at how many cars are involved in this battle. The only way to go, Raikkonen's going to the inside. Oh my goodness me. Surely not. We're actually doing this. We've overtaken both the Ferraris on the pit straight. We're taking full advantage. We are back up into 4th position. Look at this, guys. It's only the start. Raikkonen and Massa going 3 abreast of on the straight, heading into the sky. Raikkonen's into the gravel. Massa's taking the position. Grosjean also tried it around the outside as well, but he had to back out in the end. And I believe actually Raikkonen did crash off that. As we are now diving up the inside of Sebastian Vettel. I think we just about got it sorted here, but Vettel's trying to hang it around the outside. I don't think he has enough drive out of the corner, guys. So guys, here I am today for part number 14 of my Felipe Nasr career modes here on F1 2015, and we are here today under floodlights for the Singapore Grand Prix. Obviously, last time out in Italy, as you saw by the intro, just about edging 4th place at the expense of Sebastian Vettel, overtaking him at the final corner to seal what was in the end 12 points. But obviously in that race, we lost out to Valtteri Bottas, who finished 1 position ahead of us. So obviously he's our championship rival, mainly along with Felipe Nasr, although Bottas is closer to us in the championship at the moment. So we've got to try and work on beating him in this Grand Prix. Obviously, Williams generally don't run too well around street circuits like Singapore, so you know our chances are quite high this weekend, but obviously depends on how we perform out on track, depends on how good our setup is and how we can fare during the race. But obviously, guys, you know, recent years, you know, in real life F1, Singapore has brought about quite a few surprises, so we could be in, you know, for an unexpected result this weekend. Who knows? Let's just see how qualifying goes first. But one thing I've got to mention, guys, obviously recently there's been a little bit of inactivity on my channel. I do apologise for that. I am working on bringing out even more videos for you guys. Obviously just really lacking time at the moment, but 1 or 2 videos what I'm going to be keeping it at for this moment in time. Hopefully it will improve over the coming weeks. But anyway, guys, without further ado, let's get into the qualifying report. Based on practice, it will be the battle between the 2 Mercedes as we enter qualifying for the Singapore Grand Prix. Will Stevens was 6/10 faster than teammate Roberto Merri as Mana Marisha locked out the back row. Romain Grosjean had a shocker as he qualified down 18th, with Maldonado not faring much better in their one-off race livery. Max Verstappen was left scratching his head after Sainz out-qualified him by over 5/10, despite the Dutchman being consistently quicker during practice. Nico Hulkenberg was the quicker of the 2 Force India cars as the German narrowly made it into the top 10. It was a very pleasing day for McLaren as Alonso edged his car to 10th, with Button a further 2 positions back. Both Williams would line up on row 4, despite Massa being nearly 8/10 quicker than his Finnish teammate. Daniel Ricciardo was another surprise in qualifying as he still 5th position for tomorrow's grid. Kvyat, however, struggled to 16th, making it another poor qualifying for the Russian. Felipe Nasr managed to get within a second of the pole position time and would start 4th. Kimi Räikkönen was exactly a second quicker than Sebastian Vettel as he was best of the rest. 100th of a second is all that separated the 2 Mercs, with Lewis Hamilton coming out on top. Alonso made it into the top 10 for the first time this season, with Hulkenberg only 6 thousandths quicker. Bottas and Massa would share row 4, with contrasting fortunes on row 3, Ricciardo being the more satisfied. Nasr sealed yet another 4th place, and Raikkonen continued to stamp his authority on his teammate, but it would be the 2 Mercedes cars leading the field into turn 1 for the Singapore Grand Prix. Again, I'm extremely surprised by our qualifying pace. The AI just seemed very, very slow, in Q3 especially. I have no idea why, but once again, 4th position on the grid for Felipe Nasr. It seems to be his favourite grid position this season. Qualified there on so many occasions. Obviously, you know, the most notable one was his home debut race in Australia. But obviously, as you can see, I believe that is Lewis Hamilton starting on pole. Yes, with Nico Rosberg starting next. It's actually the first time that Lewis Hamilton's been on pole for quite a long time, actually. As you can see there, we just getting prepared now. Our engineer's setting up our car and our cockpit, and we're just giving an interview at the moment. But yeah, obviously today there will be variations in strategy, actually. I think the main one is to do a 4-stop. I think we're going to try and do 1 less stop because I feel as if I can manage my tyres quite well around our track. Obviously, you can see there in 13th place, Marcus Ericsson, our teammate, once again, really just not on the pace. But McLaren surprisingly getting to the top 10 with Fernando Alonso. Be interested to see how they get on in today's Grand Prix around Singapore. But obviously, we've got to see how it all pans out, and obviously with the variations in strategy, it could make for a very interesting race and result outcome. But anyway, fuel conservation, Obviously, another factor is fuel conservation will be absolutely crucial in this race. We're really going to have to save fuel during the slow, corners in the track. So mainly sector 3, which is where I think will be fast this weekend. We are running quite a high downforce setup, so we're going to be much slower on the straights, but we should be a lot quicker in sector 3. So that's what we're going to be gaining on cars in today's Grand Prix. But yeah, just making the final adjustments to our car now for what should be a very long but entertaining Singapore Grand Prix. So get your favourite snack, get your favourite drink, just sit down and relax. The show is about to start here as the lights are building up now. 5 red lights here for the Singapore Grand Prix, and we are underway here. And it looks like Vettel behind us actually got a much better start. He pulls onto the outside. We're blocking off a little bit. Ricciardo's on our outside now. I think we just about defended it as Ricciardo runs away. In fact, he hits Sebastian Vettel, and Daniel Ricciardo has already spun out here. Already been an incident on lap 1 in the Singapore Grand Prix. Perhaps that's a sign of things to come. Maybe this race will get even crazier. Who knows? But now we have Sebastian Vettel on our outside here, heading down into turn 3. Out of the exit of the corner now, Sebastian Vettel will probably get a better run in the Ferrari car that he has. More mechanical grip, and obviously more straight line speed as well by the looks of it, as he's cruising around the outside. So we try to go to the inside to retake the position, but it is not going to happen. Actually, behind us, we have Bottas in 6th and Maldonado in 7th, and then quite a large gap back to the other guys behind. So obviously, they got caught up by this incident here with Daniel Ricciardo. Let's see what happened. He made contact with the German driver, Sebastian Vettel. Let's see what happens here with Daniel Ricciardo's Red Bull. In fact, I think Sebastian Vettel completely turned to Ricciardo there. I don't think Ricciardo could have taken avoiding action unless he ran off the track, which maybe would have been a sensible option, but I think Vettel should have done a lot more there to avoid that. And let's have a look from Felipe Nasr's perspective now. I think we get a good view of it here. But I think Ricciardo actually made a mistake, ran a little bit wide. I think he was forced up by ourselves, and then Vettel perhaps didn't realise that Ricciardo was there. So I think overall a race against them, no penalties necessarily needed there. But the huge gain in all this was Valtteri Bottas. You can see Ricciardo spinning right in front of his teammate there. Felipe Nasr actually losing his front wing. In fact, I didn't pick up on that when we were on board with him, but unfortunately he had to retire from the Grand Prix as a result of that incident. Also, a huge gainer as well was past Maldonado, making his way all the way up into 7th place, I believe. So again, a very good start for Maldonado and Valtteri Bottas, our championship rival. So again, Bottas qualifying quite low down. Obviously, he's our championship rival, so we're going to have to really try our best to beat him in this Grand Prix. Obviously, he's currently behind us, or he's currently in front of us, sorry, in the championship by a single point thanks to his podium last time up. As you can see, he has just driven past us there on the straight into turn 3. Again, just proving that our straight line speed just isn't there. We're running more of a higher downforce setup this time. Higher front wing angle, I say about 9 front wing angle, just to have more grip through sector 3. But however, guys, it's really affecting us on the straights. And we can't really capitalise on him. We just have to try and get as much as we possibly can in sector 3 through the slow, tight, twisty corners. But as you can see here, even with DRS, we cannot catch up Bottas. In fact, if anything, Valtteri Bottas is pulling away, so we've made a huge mistake here with the setup. But hopefully it won't, dent us too much. Hopefully it won't haunt us come the end of this Grand Prix, because there's still a long way to go, guys. And as I said at the beginning of the episode, there are going to be a variation in the strategies, so we can look to gain on the guys through the pit stops. But as you can see there, through sector 3, we are gaining quite a bit on Valtteri Bottas. Obviously, he doesn't quite have the grip that we have through these slow corners. But however, I think overall, we are quicker than Bottas on a lap. But it's just on the straights where we're really losing out to him, and it's costing us absolutely dear here. As you can see, the gap is slowly increasing. In fact, in the pits is Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg at the same time for some reason. I thought they fixed that glitch where 2 teammates pitted in on the same lap, and on the previous lap, on lap 3, beginning of lap 4, Kimi Raikkonen came into the pit, and now onto lap 5, we are the only car pitting. I believe Bottas and Vettel are also staying out. I think we are intending on doing a free stop here, going onto the option tyres in this sim. I think Bottas and Vettel are also planning the same, and perhaps that means that Hamilton, Rosberg and Raikkonen are all doing 4 stops, so we can look to gain on them here, and there could be some titanic battle coming in this Grand Prix. We've got to see how it all pans out, as we do fit on the option tyres, and it looks like we're going to rejoin behind Hamilton and Kimi Raikkonen. We've already driven past on the track. Hamilton, the current race leader, but as you can see ahead on the mini, there's a huge amount of traffic there. We can look to capitalise on that and try and gain on the cars ahead, and maybe, just maybe, try and challenge Kimi Raikkonen. But as you can see here, Rosberg actually, obviously Rosberg had to pit in at the same time as Lewis Hamilton, and Rosberg has only just rejoined ahead of us, so actually, if we were a little bit quicker out of the pit lane, then maybe we could have jumped Nico Rosberg. But he is in fact set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Rosberg is absolutely flying in clean air at the moment. He's slowly closing in on Kimi Raikkonen and Lewis Hamilton. But out of the pits there, ahead of us, is the Williams Valtteri Bottas. So we haven't actually managed to jump him, despite pitting in 1 lap early. So perhaps the undercut is not as effective around this track compared to tracks like Montreal, for example. But as you can see ahead, Bottas is being held up here by Will Stevens, so we can look to gain on him here. Obviously, as I said earlier, crucial to beat Bottas in this race if we want to, re-overtake him in the championship. Obviously, there's still quite a few races to go, but just for some pride, really, just a confidence boost trying to overtake Bottas. In fact, we're going inside of him at the final corner here. Valtteri Bottas has just been passed here by Felipe Nasr. What a move that was. Very opportunistic there. I don't think Valtteri expected him to make that move whatsoever. We've taken full advantage of that, but however, later on, guys, onto the straight, unsurprisingly, Valtteri Bottas has retaken the position. This is going to be the problem here coming up to, well, really just for the rest of this Grand Prix, as I mentioned earlier on. But as you can see ahead, Sergio Perez, I think in the Force India, is holding up a train of cars, including Nico Rosberg and Sebastian Vettel. Obviously, Vettel pitting in at the same time as Bottas. Sergio Perez doing us an absolutely huge favour here by holding up these guys. Nico Rosberg now making his way around the outside. I think he has just about done this. You can see the Force India for Sergio Perez actually on the prime tyres for this Grand Prix. Obviously, Force India adopting a different strategy today compared to the rest of the field. But in fact, he almost forced Sebastian Vettel into the wall. It's going to be interesting to see here. As you can see, we're looking very feisty behind Valtteri Bottas, but at the moment, there's just no room to pass in Sector 3. This is where our car is the strongest, so we're going to have to really take advantage here. But at the moment, Perez is just, backing the cars together, and there's really no room to overtake whatsoever. Maybe Perez will pit in this lap. We're going to have to wait and see, but I think he has opted to stay out for one more lap. Let's see whether Vettel and Bottas will be able to overtake him. But on the straights, guys, we have absolutely nothing here in comparison to the rest of the cars. So let's just see what happens. I think Vettel's stuck into the inside line now, and can Vettel make the move up the inside of turn 1? Yes, he can. I think we're going to try and overtake Bottas, and both Perez as well. Two cars overtaken in just the space of 2 corners there. What a move. Both Felipe Nasr there on Valtteri Bottas and Sergio Perez. I think Bottas also got through as well, as he did catch Sergio Perez off guard. I don't think he was really expecting, us to go up inside. I think he was expecting Valtteri Bottas if anybody, but really another opportunistic move there. Very ambitious, and it did pay off for us, and we are now up into P5, but no, back down to P6 straight away thanks to our straight line speed, and Valtteri Bottas making his way up into P5 through turn 6. Once again, we've had our work cut out because of our straight line speed, and now on lap 13, currently a load of cars are pitted in, including Kimi Raikkonen, Lewis Hamilton, Nico Rosberg, and obviously Sebastian Vettel. It's currently just myself and Valtteri Bottas who are out on the track, and with Maldonado behind in P3. So, but I believe we are doing the pits this lap for our second pit stop of the day to fit on the option tyres. I'm probably not going to show you guys the pit stop here because basically all the normal stuff happened and Bottas rejoined ahead of us. In fact, he actually jumped Nico Rosberg most crucially, and I went right behind us another train of cars there, overtaking Danny Kvyat up the inside. In fact, a very ambitious move there from the Sauber driver, once again making the move stick up the inside, and we have now moved up into 7th position. In fact, there's loads of battling going on ahead. I believe there's another car in all of this who has yet to stop for a second time. I believe that's the McLaren Honda of Jenson Button, who's actually running very well in this Grand Prix. Obviously, McLaren qualifying quite well for Fernando Alonso. Jenson Button in 12th place, I believe that's where he qualified. And you can see Bottas actually made his way around the outside of the McLaren, and now Rosberg's going outside, but we might try the switchback here and try to overtake the pair of them here, like similarly to what we did with Bottas and Perez a couple of laps ago. But I believe now we have the DRS on Rosberg, but again, it's to no use. And in fact, the McLaren Honda there of Jenson Button was actually getting equal straight line speed to ourselves. That really just shows you guys how poor our straight line speed actually is. That shows the extent of it. But nonetheless, we have made the move on Jenson Button, and unfortunately Rosberg did remain in 5th position after all of that. But however, Valtteri Bottas is not too far up the road, so we could potentially catch him before the end of this Grand Prix. But I do believe me and Bottas are doing different strategies in comparison to Rosberg and also the Ferrari ahead of us, Kimi Raikkonen I believe that is, who is pitting in for the 3rd time today. So that all but confirms Kimi Raikkonen's 4-stop strategy. So that means now, guys, that we could potentially be fighting for a podium position come the end of this race. That is absolutely crazy, considering how, honestly guys, after lap 2 or lap 3, whenever Bottas overtook us for the first time and I saw our straight line speed, I honestly thought we wouldn't have a chance, but it appears to be, that's not really a factor in this race. Strategy is the main factor in this Singapore Grand Prix. Rosberg now pits in. He's also doing a 4-stop as well. As we post our fast lap of the race so far, we've really been pumping in these lap times, guys, if we want to try and rejoin ahead of Rosberg and Sebastian Vettel. Obviously, they are probably doing one more stop on us, but we are not exactly sure of that yet. They could somehow make their prime tyres last a good 15 laps. Now, onto lap 21, I believe we are due into the pits for our final pits of the day to take the prime tyres 10 laps to the end of the Grand Prix. You can see Bottas also pitting in, but at this point I made the very late decision to come into the pit lane, and we actually overtook Valtteri Bottas in the process there by basically cutting off half the track. I have no idea why the game didn't give me at least a warning for that. but it does. I don't know whether Bottas will rejoin ahead though. We're gonna have to wait and see. It's basically the battle between the two mechanics, battle between the Williams team and the Sauber F1 team. Let's see where we rejoin. Will the Sauber guys be able to get us out ahead? Yes, they will. A 2.5 second stop, and we are out in front of Valtteri Bottas. Lewis Hamilton's already overtaken us up into first place. However, guys, we are currently in the next second position, it appears. I have absolutely no idea how that's possible unless Sebastian Vettel has had some sort of incident or crashed, or even Kimi Räikkönen. What has happened to the two Ferraris here in the Singapore Grand Prix? They've literally been abducted from the track. Surely they must be ahead of us at this point. We're going to have a look at some replays here. But this replay isn't of the two Ferraris. It's of Daniel Ricciardo here, exiting the pits from his third pit stop of the day, I believe. Currently he has battling with Will Stevens and also Nico Hülkenberg. But Ricciardo gets spun around there by the Manarussia of Will Stevens. And both Hülkenberg and Ricciardo lose their front wings. Both drivers there losing out. Ricciardo performing a 360-degree spin. But he is really struggling now around the track. And both Hülkenberg and Ricciardo have really lost out. In fact, that's Grosjean behind in the Lotus car, who has crashed to the back of Ricciardo, who's going so slowly, and he has now lost his front wing. And this is now Hülkenberg with Kvyat behind him, the other Red Bull racing car. And in fact, Kvyat just puts Hülkenberg straight into the wall because he's running so slowly through that right-hander, I believe. It might even be a left-hander. I think it is a left-hander. Yes, it is. And there's our teammate Marcus Ericsson, who must be running into points at this point, surely. And this is what happened to Vettel here. I don't believe this is what caused him to rejoin behind us. I don't know where Vettel is at all. He's absolutely nowhere to be seen, so he must have made an extra pit stop for whatever reason. He must have got some damage from somewhere. I couldn't exactly see where that was in the replay, guys, so I can only assume that's what happened. We're going to have to look at the end of the race and see whether Vettel had made an extra stop. But this is Lewis Hamilton here. What? No. Wait, he's pitting in. He's pitting in for the fourth time, and we are now in the lead of the Singapore Grand Prix. This cannot be possible. This is not happening here. We are now battling for the race win here between our championship rival, Valtteri Bottas. It could not have been set up any better. What a climax this will be. Oh my goodness me. But don't forget, guys, Lewis Hamilton on fresh Upton tyres will be extremely fast, and he will be catching up at a huge rate of knots here. So we're going to have to really stay strong here. Just have to try and keep Bottas behind for as long as possible. But as you know, guys, on the back straight, Bottas, we have absolutely no defence to him whatsoever, and he cruises his way around the outside of us up into the lead of the Singapore Grand Prix. Currently the gap behind Lewis Hamilton is just over 5 seconds, so currently at this rate he will be all over us come the end of this Grand Prix. So me and Bottas are going to have to escape as quickly as possible and make the most of these back markers ahead who are going to have to conquer through, and just hope that Lewis Hamilton is held up by them, just to avoid a battle with him at the end of the Grand Prix, because that is the last thing we want really, a Mercedes versus a Williams in the Sauber. However, we are performing the switchback move here on Bottas, getting a beautiful run there through the chicane, up the inside, a similar move to Danny Kvyat, forcing Bottas to the inside wall. However, we got a very poor exit out of the corner, getting a bit of wheel spin there, a bit of oversteer, sign of the tyres beginning to wear, and Bottas, with the straight line speed he has, a very easy move back up into the lead. So this lead battle is never ending here as we try and get a good run out of the corner, but it's just not enough at this point. Skipping later on into lap 25. This is the same lap, guys, that we have been on now for like the last 2 minutes of this video, I swear. But yeah, currently Bottas getting such a good run out of the final corner that we sort of matched that, but no straight line speed whatsoever. Even with the DRS, you can see our straight line speeds are basically equal, and oh my goodness me, look at that lap time from Lewis Hamilton. I believe that was a 1 minute 45.431. So he is catching us up here, guys. I think we might look behind in a second just to see that Mercedes driver, but I don't think Felipe Nasr will really want to do that. Neither will Valtteri Bottas. I don't think they want to know how close Lewis Hamilton is at this moment in time. They are just focused on battling each other for what is currently the lead of the Singapore Grand Prix. Obviously with the DRS now, you do actually seem to be gaining on Bottas quite a lot. Are we going to try and make a diving wheel up the inside? No, just too far back at this point. We don't want to risk anything and allow Lewis Hamilton to close in even more, because the more we battle, guys, the quicker Lewis Hamilton will catch up. And looking behind that, we can quite clearly see the Mercedes driver, the Brit Lewis Hamilton, the current championship leader, really stamping his authority in the rest of the field. He has proven that this year, as we are now trying to get through the both Lotus cars, Romain Grosjean and past Maldonado. Obviously, don't forget, Maldonado had such a good stop, was actually battling with me and Bottas earlier on, but Maldonado has obviously dropped back quite severely since then. In fact, yes, Lewis Hamilton is being held up by the two Lotus cars, luckily. In fact, they're forcing him to the inside wall there, but I think Lewis Hamilton, in the end, has now got through. On lap 28, we are still behind Valtteri Bottas, still trying to find a way through. Just going to try and get a better exit, better traction out of one of the tight corners coming out here. Obviously, traction is a huge problem here around Singapore, and clear signs there of oversteer. Just the tyres really beginning to wear now, just struggling. Me and Valtteri Bottas and Lewis Hamilton obviously on the fresh option tyres. The option tyres are about a second faster around this track. In fact, once again through the chicane, getting a very good run. We might try and make a dive on the inside of Bottas. Yes, we are. Once again, in fact, we do lock up and hit Bottas. His side pod there. Really close there to making, quite severe contact with the Williams driver. Luckily, nothing too bad came out of this. Now, Lewis Hamilton is all over the back of us here. He's trying to make them on the outside. We hanging him out to dry. And we have maintained second position, just trying to catch a breath there. This battle is really intense now, guys. On to lap 29, just 3 laps to go, only 2 laps off this one. Lewis Hamilton once again trying to line up a move. Will he be able to succeed in doing so this time? He's going to the outside, same as last lap. But once again, Felipe Nasr hangs him out to dry, and Lewis Hamilton is forced to prevail and back out of the move. And he's going to have to wait another lap before overtaking us. At this point, Valtteri Bottas is still within striking distance, 4 tenths ahead of us. Lewis Hamilton currently half a second behind, although I'm sure that's been reduced as we get a poor exit, lock up into turn 6, and Lewis Hamilton once again forces back out. Lewis Hamilton absolutely desperate to try and overtake Felipe Nasr, to try and at least get onto the back of Valtteri Bottas before the final lap of the Grand Prix. That's the only opportunity that Lewis Hamilton is going to get to win the Singapore Grand Prix today. However, through the chicane, once again get a beautiful run in comparison to the Williams of Valtteri Bottas. In fact, Lewis Hamilton's in fact dropped back a little bit, but Valtteri Bottas will obviously have the straight line speed advantage on this straight, along with Lewis Hamilton, putting it down to standard fuel mixture now. We are running very low on fuel here. As you can see there, minus 0.18. So you also have fuel to conserve before the end of this Grand Prix. So who knows who will win this race? Will it be Valtteri Bottas for his first win of the season? Will it be Felipe Nasr for his maiden Formula 1 win? Or will it be Lewis Hamilton, despite doing 1 extra stop in comparison to ourselves and Valtteri Bottas? Now heading into the final chicane for the penultimate time. In fact, Bottas going incredibly slow, and we take full advantage. We are now up into the lead of the Singapore Grand Prix, literally just before the final lap. But Bottas having absolutely none of it, goes straight back up the inside of the final corner. He's having to back out for now, but the mistake is here, guys. Bottas and Hamilton both have DRS and us. This could prove to be a huge error here, overtaking Bottas too early on. Bottas out the inside, defending from him. Hamilton is overtaking us both around the outside. Oh my goodness me, who would have thought? Lewis Hamilton has made his way up into the lead of the Singapore Grand Prix. He's overtaken the pair of us around the outside. What a move from the Mercedes driver, you have to admit. We'll look at a replay in a second, but it does appear as if this will be the final order. We have literally all swapped positions. Now let's have a look on board from Lewis Hamilton, right from the final 2 corners. Felipe Nasr having to defend from Bottas. Obviously, I think Nasr, ourselves, we were just too focused on defending from Bottas, trying to force him up against the wall. Completely forgot about Lewis Hamilton as he made his way around the outside. In fact, actually going off the track, all 4 tyres were off the track there. So in fact, that was an illegal manoeuvre there from Lewis Hamilton. Why on earth he did not let us through, I have no idea. Bottas squeezed onto the inside line, forced to take a very tight line, and he really had to back out, and he really was the big loser in all of that. But Hamilton, I cannot believe how he got away with going completely off the track there and not giving the position back to either myself or Valtteri Bottas. Cannot believe that whatsoever, but we are going to gloss over that now, guys. It doesn't matter. Hamilton in the end was the quickest car, and really it was just a true champion's drive from Lewis Hamilton. He's really proving why he is currently leading this World Championship. Still, guys, second place in the Singapore Grand Prix. Who would have expected that, honestly, as we now come around the final corner for a podium here today at the Singapore Grand Prix. What a race we have seen today at Singapore. As you can see from the race result, Lewis Hamilton winning despite doing 1 extra stop. We've got to give credit to Hamilton despite the arguable illegal manoeuvre. Perhaps leave a comment down below if you think that was an illegal overtake or not, or whether he should have let us back through. Looking at the positions behind, Rosberg in 4th, Raikkonen in 5th, Jensen Button and Fernando Alonso, double points from McLaren. In total, that, I believe, is 14 points from the McLaren team. Sainz finishing in 8th, Vettel all the way down in 9th, in fact 6 pit stops for whatever reason, Kvyat in 10th, and Marcus Ericsson typically just missing out a point. In the Drivers' Championship, we are now 2 points ahead of Valtteri Bottas in the Williams. We've got to aim to try and increase that lead heading into Japan now. Lewis Hamilton now has increased his lead to 63 points. He is absolutely bossing things this season.